At Woodhill, we support arithmetic in various ways through our teaching. First of all, we have early morning work. Often when the children come in, there'll be some arithmetic problems put on their iPads, which they then solve. And we talk through the process of answering those and different techniques. We have pre-teaching before the arithmetic test. Based on the Socrates scores from the week before, we'll analyse which questions they found difficult, and we'll do some practice, my turn, your turn, of the types of questions that they struggled with in the previous week's teaching. That will inform our post-teaching, which one of our learning support assistants here takes us through. It's a focus of every maths meeting. There's at least one slide with a number of the day, and we do various calculations around that. And we also set arithmetic homework once a fortnight, which is using techniques and questions that are like those from the arithmetic test.
Hi, I'm Luke Donnelly. I'm a Year 6 teacher here at Abbots Green.
And I'm Annie Thurlow, and also a Year 6 teacher at Abbots Green.
So with our arithmetic and our maths in Year 6 here, we start the morning with our morning maths, and this is based around what we call our Rainbow Challenges. 5 questions based on our previous week's arithmetic paper. They get progressively more difficult, and it gives us an opportunity for the children to have another go, work independently, and then we go through them with the class, looking at the method and where they've got those misconceptions with that going forward. It's all informed by our data each week, looking at the QLA.
And I think the children are really kind of motivated by that because they're trying to get as many questions as they can right. The trickier ones are worth more points. There's a kind of competitive amongst the children to try and get more points whilst they're doing their morning maths, which they just do straight onto their iPad, uploaded with their iPad pen. In terms of maths lessons each week, we have 5 maths lessons every week. 4 of these are following our White Rose steps, and the fifth maths lesson is our arithmetic lesson. So this is still an hour lesson on a Friday where we do our half-an-hour arithmetic paper. We spend the first half an hour going through our turn, your turn questions where we're practicing the methods that we see in the Year 6 arithmetic papers. We do that warm up for about half an hour, and then they complete their half an hour arithmetic paper. Obviously, some children, when it comes to their arithmetic paper, their real arithmetic paper in their SATs, they'll be allowed 25% extra time because of a lower read speed. Which we do when we do our mock SATs. We also do that on our weekly arithmetic paper to make it realistic for the children. Those children that have that read speed under 90 words per minute will be given those extra 25% time to complete their paper.
I think the important thing to mention there is also with our arithmetics, we have individual targets. We look at their previous term's average, and each week they are trying to beat their average score, and we keep track of that with them. We also have a year group, a cohort target for certain periods of time where we then incentivise them based on that. So it's kind of individual, but also a collective kind of responsibility as well. And the children really feed off that in that way. Also, we have 3 times a week we do maths meetings. And those maths meetings are, again, they're informed by our QLAs from either our previous papers, so it might be a reasoning focus or a concept such as measurements or shape or something like that, where there feels like there's a bit of a gap in some of their ability to recall that information from previous years. Or if there is a big gap in a certain topic within the arithmetic areas, we may well then take a whole maths meeting to focus on one of those to ensure that that's really secure in their knowledge going forward.
Yeah, and in terms of our arithmetic target, so each half term we'd have a new cohort arithmetic target. We are aiming our target, our average to be 33 before Christmas. The children know we're working towards that. We share with them each week what our average was as a cohort in terms of teams. We're putting them on the tracker. The children are really keen to meet that target. It's incentivised. We meet our target, we celebrate. We might have an extra break time. Again, the children have, their individual targets, like Luke spoke about, in terms of they're trying to beat their individual target. And again, that is incentivised within school. So alongside our daily maths lessons, maths meetings for the whole cohort, we also have some additional interventions which run for both our key marginal children and our A2 children who are aiming for greater depth.
So in the mornings, the first thing that we do is we have a maths club, which runs from 8 to 8:30, and the children are invited in. We offer them breakfast, and they do some work on a kind of cycle. So they're invited in for 2 days, and there's about 6 children, sort of maximum.
And it's children that, we've identified as actually children that we're trying to get them to expected. Either their arithmetic's not quite there, their reasoning's not quite there. They need that little bit of extra attention to enable them to get to where they need to be.
Absolutely. And on the first day, it is that arithmetic focus. It's that times table knowledge. It's that number knowledge, that security in those kind of facts that we focus on. We start off with doing a number stick, times tables and turbo tables, and just getting them into the routine of recalling those, looking for the patterns within the times tables. The second day then builds on that with either reasoning questions or arithmetic-based questions that have become those common misconceptions within the group going forward.
Alongside this, we also do one-to-one arithmetic check-ins. So using our papers from the previous week, we would then sit down and have a look at those, look at any children who actually aren't hitting 30 yet, is generally what we've been looking at recently, and putting those to one side for our LSA to do a check-in with. So the check-in will run between 5 to 10 minutes, sat with the child and just going through some questions that they've got wrong in the paper, practicing those together, addressing those misconceptions, and then setting a new target ready for that week. How are we going to get a higher score this week? What are we aiming for to incentivise those children and motivate them to keep going?
Absolutely. We also run Pixel Maths Interventions weekly, and they are targeting our A2 and our key marginals, obviously separate groups, and they are based on our QLA data, looking at where those gaps are and where we really need to push them to onto that next standard.
And something that is really motivated our children recently is giving some of them an arithmetic book. So again, those children who aren't at expected yet in their mock sats, who we're really focusing on at the moment, they have got a little book that they're taking home. We've let them decorate it, which has been very exciting. And each week they're given 6 arithmetic questions in the book that they got wrong in the previous paper. Their job is to take it home, work with their adults at home, and to go through those questions and have another go at them. They then bring their arithmetic book back in 1 week later. We mark them. That is incentivised and then rewarded in school if they bring it in and they complete it. And then a new set of questions is sent out based on the paper they've just done again. So really, really motivates them, gives them that extra focus on arithmetic. And if they come back in and they've got some wrong, they're then put aside for our LSA again, or myself or Luke, to go through with those children to make sure that they are feeling confident on answering those questions.
And with those books, we've said to them explicitly, we've said it's about showing your workings, because what we've tried to explain to them is the fact that they need to show us how they're approaching these questions, so we can then unpick where they're going wrong, what their misconception is, to drive that forward to make sure that they can get those right.
And we're also really lucky in year 6 because 3 days a week we have an additional staff member who is paid through tutoring to come and do some work with our key marginal children for us. So 3 days a week we're able to split the cohort 3 ways. And able to have a really small group that go out with that additional staff member, a small key marginal group to really focus on those children, so actually they can't hide in maths and the questions are being targeted at them, so able to give them the very best chance we can. We also stream for maths, so Luke has the greater depth group, including some strong expected children. He has more children in his room, about 33. Whereas myself and the additional staff member, we have the key marginal children spread across 2 rooms. So it means there's less children in the room. We're able to really, really focus our teaching. We're able to slow things down, teach in a different way, to say Luke would be doing with the greater depth children, and really, really address those misconceptions and practice those arithmetics. Because each day in maths we have an arithmetic starter, again, which is based on the QLA. So that summarises our approach to maths and arithmetic in year 6 at Abbott's Green.
And what we found by doing this variety of interventions and math lessons and things like that has really helped the children, not necessarily just with their maths knowledge and understanding, but also their confidence in maths, working in the smaller groups, taking the time to actually make them engage with the maths in a different way to just sitting in a maths lesson, has really paid dividend to their progress.
I'm Laura Gajari, I'm the Deputy Principal at West Row Academy, and I'm also a part-time teacher in Year 5-6 here. Some of the things we do to really improve our progress in arithmetic: we've buddied up our Year 6s with a staff member from all parts of our team at West Row. So each week when they've done their arithmetic test, it's their job to go and find their Year 6 buddy. and share those scores and talk about what they've improved on, set them a target for the next week's session. That's really helped our children. So anecdotally, we've got one of our children who started 4 weeks ago with a score out of 40 of 6, and they've now reached 20 this week with those weekly check-ins. It really helps the children feel proud of themselves, and it makes the team feel like it is everybody's responsibility to support our year sixes. We also do house points. For if they improve their score, they get 2 house points. If they sustain, they get 1, which is really helpful for those children. They really want to earn those points for their team. And then right before half term, it's double house points for the final arithmetic of that half term. All of that together has meant that our score, our average point score on our first week in Unity in September was 14 out of 40, and it's now 28 out of 40.